Imagine this: the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the greatest teacher of humanity, stands before his companions in a gathering. He does not begin by lecturing them about battle strategies, nor about trade, nor even about politics. Instead, he speaks about women, our mothers, our wives, our daughters, our sisters. He looks into the eyes of men who will carry Islam across the world and says, "Treat women kindly. For woman was created from a rib, and the most crooked part of the rib is the upper part. If you try to straighten it, you will break it, but if you leave it, it will remain crooked. So treat women kindly." Subhanallah. These words, spoken more than 1,400 years ago, still echo with relevance today, but many misunderstand them. Some read crooked rib and imagine it as an insult. Others take it as a reason to belittle women. But the truth is far deeper, far more beautiful, and far more profound today. On Islamic Echoes, we are going to journey into this hadith, its meaning, its wisdom, and how it reshapes the way a believer should view women. And I promise you, by the end of this reflection, you will not only see women differently, you will see marriage, family, and even yourself in a new light. Stay with me. This is going to be an eye-opening journey. Let us start with the basics. What does it mean that woman was created from a rib? The Quran tells us that Adam was created from dust, from clay, from the earth itself. But Eve, our mother Hova, was created from Adam. The Prophet Muhammad explained in several authentic hadith that she was created from one of Adam's ribs. Now, is this crooked rib something to look down upon? Absolutely not. The scholars explained, it is not an insult, but a description of difference. A rib by its very nature is not straight, and if you tried to force it straight, it would snap. But in its curvature lies its beauty and its function. It protects the heart, the lungs, the most vital organs. Think about that for a moment. Woman was created not from the head of man to rule over him, nor from his feet to be trampled by him, but from his side close to his heart, protected under his arm. And just like the rib protects the heart, the woman protects the family, shelters the children, and guards the man's dignity and faith. So what does the Prophet Muhammad mean when he says crooked? The scholars explained that crookedness here refers to difference in nature. Women are not identical to men, and that's the beauty of it. Men are often less expressive, less emotional, more focused on logic, detail, and firmness. Women, on the other hand, were created with heightened emotions, with compassion, with a softness of heart that men cannot reach. And this is not a fluke, it is a strength. The Prophet Muhammad himself highlighted this when he said, "The world is but provision, and the best provision of the world is a righteous woman." So the crookedness is not about difference. Just as you would never complain that water is too wet or fire is too hot, you cannot complain that women are too emotional or too caring. This is how Allah designed them, and this is what makes them perfect for their role in the family and society. Sadly, some men misuse this hadith. They take the word crooked and use it as a weapon to degrade women, to claim superiority, or to excuse mistreatment. This is a betrayal of the Prophet's Muhammad message. Because what did he say immediately after describing the rib? He said, "So treat women kindly." The hadith is not a license to mock, it is a warning to be gentle. It is as if the Prophet Muhammad is saying, understand their nature. Don't try to forcefully change it. Don't demand perfection. Instead, appreciate it, tolerate the differences, and live with kindness. This hadith is especially important for husbands. Every marriage faces moments of frustration. A wife may become upset quickly, speak with emotion, or act in ways a man finds difficult to understand. The wrong reaction is to try to straighten her out, to fix her as if she is broken. The Prophet Muhammad said, if you try to straighten her, you will break her. And the scholars explained, breaking here means divorce. In other words, if you keep insisting that your wife must think, act, and react exactly like you, you will destroy the marriage. Instead, the wise husband learns patience. He overlooks small faults. He focuses on the good. He accepts her as she is, just as she accepts his flaws. This is why the Prophet Muhammad said, a believing man should not hate a believing woman. If he dislikes one of her characteristics, he will be pleased with another. Subhanallah, what a formula for peace at home now. Some may ask, if women are emotional, does that mean they cannot make decisions? Of course not. Women throughout Islamic history were leaders, scholars, and businesswomen. Hazratk Hadijah, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, was a successful merchant. Hazrat Aisha was a scholar of hadith who taught thousands of companions. The point is not that women are incapabilities, that Allah designed men and women with complementary strengths. Women's emotions allow them to nurture children in ways men never could. Men's firmness allows them to carry certain responsibilities, and together they form a balance, a harmony that creates strong families and strong societies. One of the most important lessons from this hadith is do not scrutinize your wife for every mistake. The Prophet Muhammad warned men not to constantly say, "Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? Didn't I tell you already?" Because if you go looking for perfection, you will never find it, and in trying to straighten every fault, you will only break the marriage instead. Overlook, forgive, and tolerate. As long as she does not cross the limits of Allah, learn to live with differences. And this applies both ways. Wives also must learn to tolerate their husbands' flaws. For men too are full of mistakes. Let us also highlight what the crooked rib gives women that men cannot match: their compassion, their emotional depth, their nurturing spirit. These are not weaknesses, but divine gifts. Think about a mother's sleepless nights with her baby. Think about the sacrifices she makes, the patience she shows, the love she pours into her family. No man could ever match that. And this is why paradise lies beneath her feet. So, when the Prophet Muhammad says women are crooked, he is not criticizing them. He is telling men to recognize that their difference is by design, and that design is perfect for their role in life. At the end of the day, this hadith is a call to kindness. The Prophet Muhammad said in his farewell sermon, the last great address he gave to the Ummah, "Fear Allah with regard to women, for you have taken them as a trust from Allah, and you are permitted to enjoy them by the word of Allah." So, he reminded us that our wives are not possessions, they are trusts, a manna from Allah. To mistreat them is to betray that trust. So, husbands, be gentle. Fathers, be compassionate. Brothers, be protective. This is the sunnah of your Prophet. The world often misuses this hadith in two opposite ways. On one side, some men misuse it to justify abuse. On the other, some critics of Islam mock it, saying, "See, Islam says women are crooked." Both are wrong. The hadith is not about inferiority, it is about difference, and about the obligation to treat women with kindness despite and because of that difference. If anything, this hadith proves how Islam dignified women 14 centuries ago, when the rest of the world saw them as property. Islam said, "She is different, yes, but she is a trust, a gift, a source of love and mercy in your life." So my dear brothers and sisters, what do we take from all of this? Women were created differently from men, and that difference is a mercy, not a flaw. Men must not try to force women into perfection, but should accept, forgive, and be gentle. Kindness to women is not optionally, is a command from the Prophet Muhammad. Agriya is not about fixing one another, but about completing one another. If you remember this hadith, every time you interact with your wife, your mother, your sister, you will live with more patience, more love, and more peace. My dear family in faith, if this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends, with your brothers, with your community. Remind them that true strength is not in harshness, but in gentleness. If you want more reminders like this, subscribe to Islamic Echoes. Here, we revive the timeless guidance of the Prophet Muhammad and make it echo in our lives today. This is Islamic Echoes, reminding you that the crooked rib is not a flaw to be fixed, but a gift to be cherished. Treat it with kindness, and Allah will treat you with mercy.